Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to my page. It's yours truly, Trisha Walters, and I thank you for stopping and clicking. And I welcome you to the sage green eyeshadow look. 5 steps, that's it. We started with our brows, they're already complete. We've prepped our eyelids with some eye primer. We used the MAC paint pot. And today we are using the Juvia's Place palette in, I think it's a Warrior palette, but I'm going to double check and put that in the comments. So we used 2 colors in the crease and the outer corner. We used a yellowy orange up in the crease, and then on the outer corner it's like a brownie green, almost taupe. So what I need to tell you is to remember, with your eyeshadow looks, you really wanna take your time. There's no rush, and buffing to perfection is what you want, but you don't want to overdo things. So that's why you just want to take your time. Now I've gone on to my inner corner where I'm using a lighter gold with a green undertone. But here's where we're going in with the sage green. The reason I'm using my finger is because Juvia's Place eyeshadows are so pigmented. So I just needed to tap a little bit on, right into place, beside the initial color that I put in my inner corner. And that's just going to give it a nice transition. I have a little bit more control with my finger sometimes. And here we are going to make everything cohesive and bring the third step together. So we had the crease, the lid, and now the outer V, and transitioning those colors so that they move one into the other seamlessly. I'm going to take the remnants of that same outer corner color and just bring it up to the outer V before I take my soft puffy brush and diffuse everything out under the brow, from the crease to under the brow, so that you can't see the transition. And finally, we're going in with eyeliner. This look is not complex. It's literally 2 colors on your lid, and it was 2 colors in the crease. Now we're using the MAC gel liner. I always start on the inner corner and try to make my way out. The lines and the skin texture on my eyelids move a certain way, so I have to make shorter strokes. So I start from the inner corner out to the end, then I work on my wing and work my way back to thicken up the line. I'm using a flat angled brush, which is also from MAC. I'll put the details in the comments. And then I don't always use liner on my bottom lash, but I won't leave it bare. You need balance from the top lid that has all that color and dimension. If you leave the bottom with no color, it's gonna look a little blank. So I just take the same color that I had on the outer corner and I put that on my bottom lash line, and I use that soft brush to diffuse it, basically just so it doesn't look harsh. Now we're going in with the skin prep. So I put my MAC primer on, and after I let that sit for a second, I've edited past. Ahead of that, I'm going in to conceal under the eyes. I actually try to use this Bedallion brush, which is magical. It is one of the all-time favorites of mine that I've ever used to put concealer, especially under the eye. It literally melts the concealer away. So oftentimes you'll see the triangle or the shape that someone packed in their concealer, but the edges are always diffused beautifully with this Bedallion brush. I will also make sure I'm not wasting any product, and I'm utilizing the remnants on the brush to get under my nose, above my lip. Now we're going to highlight in all the other areas where the light hits, and we want to bring them forward. So the chin, the forehead, and the T-zone, and the bridge of the nose, and the tip of the nose. So these are all the features we want to bring forward, but because of the concealer, we want to make sure that we have even consistency in these areas. So what I'm going to do, and you see here now, is just me blending out the T-zone above the brow into the forehead. Then we're going to follow up with foundation in a moment, but just see how I'm taking my time. This Bedallion brush has kind of 2 rows. There's the first row and the second. So it literally is like 2 steps in one as you're blending it down. What you saw there was I applied my MAC primer to the majority of my face where no concealer was, and then I actually set it with setting spray after putting the foundation on. This is optional. You can wait to put your setting spray at the finale at the end, but this is just sometimes I do things in a different order just for the sake of trying different techniques. So this is the bigger version of the Bedallion brush, which is magical. Again, watch the way it moves onto my face, under my jawline. It goes and it does what it's supposed to do. So I blend out the foundation as best I can, and I try to ensure that the finish is skin-like as much as possible, and the way to achieve that for me is with my dampened beauty blender. I go into all the areas where I put the concealer, the foundation, and just push it in a little bit deeper. Just an FYI, a beauty blender does lift off some of the product, and that is partially why some people will only use brushes. But you have the option, and you can have the best of both worlds as well. Here we are with the liner. I am using, I think this is Matte Cork, yes. So this is one of those softer lip looks. We're going with a nice soft pink look. So I don't want my brown liner to be too much contrast in comparison to the pink. We want it to be cohesive. So the cork is a better cohesive color to blend as opposed to chestnut from MAC. And now I let my concealer sit for a little bit. The reason you do that is so that it doesn't diffuse out too much. If I blended this out sooner, it would be a lighter finish. A lot would get picked up by the brush, but it would just be blending out as opposed to blending into the skin. So now I'm going to use this soft pink, it's almost a bubblegum pink, lipstick just to fill in all the areas that I didn't line. But look at that pretty natural look. Keys to remember: whenever you use any cream products on your face, liquid foundation, cream blush, it's best if you set it with powder. The choices are endless, whether you want to use translucent powder, setting powder, pressed powder, you name it, you have options, and I would never discourage anybody from exploring, but you don't want to waste your money. So try to choose wisely, but if you need assistance choosing anything, please don't hesitate to hit me up. So I am pressing in my setting powder in all the areas that I highlighted with the concealer, and now we're doing a little bit of contour. In some videos, you'll see me do underpainting, which means I am putting on the contour in advance before the foundation. This is just not it for today. We're keeping this real easy. As I said in the title, 5-step easy green eyeshadow look. So you see, it's a little muddy in the sense that it's all over right now. But we're blending this all the way up to create dimension, and this goes all the way up into the socket, under the brow bone, and back with that setting powder, just to carve out the definition of the shape of the contour that I applied with the bronzer and the brush. So see, it's just a slight patting motion of the setting powder on top of the little edges that blurred out too far of the contour. So I'm using my big fat puffy brush by Morphe, and this is just to put some bronzer around the edges and make sure that there's no harsh lines. You won't see where the makeup starts or finishes. It's just supposed to blend seamlessly. So this contour, I just want to emphasize it a little bit more and chisel it out, and that's why I'm taking a little bit more of the setting powder on my triangle puff and literally going from the middle of my ear to aim down to the crease of my lip, the corner of my mouth. You don't go all the way, but that's where you're aiming, and you just kind of drag the line, buff it off with your powder brush. Here are all the finishing touches that finesse the look into magnificence, in my opinion. It's really fun playing with the makeup, but it's the magic of what you can create and how you feel and embody that look afterwards. It's beyond words. So what you're seeing now is highlighter with the shimmer. There's nothing like feeling all glowy and shiny, but this makeup thing is literally about loving yourself for who you are on the inside and just making a reflection of that on the outside. Got my Made in Beauty lashes. She is amazing, and I absolutely loved those lashes when I had put them on. Look at that. Perfection. I thank you guys for watching. I appreciate any time you come and take a click on my page. It's yours truly, Trisha Walters. And if there's anything I can do to share more helpful tips for you, please don't forget to hit me up in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.